Okay.
Um, so first things first, I talked a little bit about this before, but the ships, you're absolutely welcome to take a sloop out and go have fun. We recommend too, but if you're good at sailing, just go ahead and take it out solo if you'd like. The schooner, brigs, and galleon, we just asked that you get approval before you take it out. Obviously, it requires preparedness, and we want to make sure that we're not losing boats. Over on the left, you'll see an example of some of the individual quarters. So each member gets their own individual room. So the nameplate above the door it indicates the players' names. Sometimes people will put like a slash and then the role they like to play, like farmer or gunsmith or whatever the case may be. You're welcome to paint it if you'd like. And then each room has its own bed and its own storage container. The storage container you should expect to be able to put your stuff in there and have your stuff be there when you log back on. It's not foolproof, um, but for the most part, the things are there when you leave them there. We just closed this off to ensure that particularly the crocodiles don't roam through our garden. But go ahead and step in here. And in the middle, you have your garden plots. Eventually, it's two-tiered. So right now, we're going to build this out up to the door.
Oh
Our
wow.
gardeners are working on expanding it right up to the edge here once they build the rest of the platforms. And they'll finish up the irrigation system, and then they'll build a second tier in line with the second level with another set of crop plot. We're working on bringing wheat seeds and wheat and beans and some of the things and rice, some of the things that we've been lacking from the northeast part of the world. Folks are about halfway done with their adventure right now, and they'll be back relatively soon. In here is the kitchen. In the kitchen, you have all of your food organized in each respective food group. So it's by color or by food type. There's always enough food to go around, so please take what you need to stay alive. Don't worry about, um, you know, take it whenever. I just don't take too much to let it spoil. So we're taking good care of what we have. If you find poop on the ground, you're welcome to put poop in this little storage container. Seeds also go in there as well. You see this is painted the same colors as the galleon. We just did a poll on like a straw poll, so everybody got to vote on the name of the galleon. We landed on Leviathan. And our couple artists went through some color schemes, and the team or the group had a chance to weigh in on the color schemes. And they're going to start painting not only the galleon, but probably the barracks as well, the color scheme that was chosen.
Hmm.
In storage here, you'll have your harvesting material or harvesting tools. You can always grab metal tools to your heart's content. There's only a limited number of metal hatchets and picks in here. Normally, it's stocked full for new recruits and members that died and lost their stuff. So go ahead and grab some harvesting tools. Obviously, repair the ones you have before you start taking new ones. Be mindful of that. But other than that, you're welcome to take them when you need them. On this back wall, it's just a bunch of stuff we found through treasure. So blue and purple, blueprints and different, just different stuff that we found around the area. Um, I actually don't know what all is in there, but we have folks that take inventory of that stuff. Um, and then back one more down is probably the most room. You have your construction room. Um, I'll wait until you guys are out.
I had to put the treasure chest in with the other or the maps.
Oh, cool.
They
Yeah.
were unorganized.
Yeah. We do try and stay organized. Some people care about others. So in here we have organized chests of all the raw materials. Put the raw materials where they go. Just like any company of any size, you know that this game has plenty of grinding. involved. So we have always had a net gain of resources and a net gain of overall progression because people are selfless and work toward common goals for the company. We'd ask that you do the same to a certain extent. I'm giving you my normal spiel, but of course, you guys have a little bit of a caveat from your perspective based on what we talked about before. Um, but the it remains the same that you're welcome to drop things off here if you'd like. Obviously, you can do your own thing over on the other side of the island to your heart's content. These three boxes over here, one of them has been building materials recently. We'll likely move that soon, but these three boxes have really just been the disorganized bins. So if you're
Okay.
in a rush to get offline and you just need to throw stuff somewhere, you can throw it here and trust that somebody that cares about organization will look there and take care of it and
Yo,
make
man,
sure it
great
goes in the
box.
right spot. Basic Smithy. We usually keep some resources on here. I know it's poor form, but we're good about closing the doors. There's no windows in here. It's fully locked down. I would strongly encourage you guys to get rid of your windows.
We did. Yeah, Wasabi
okay, cool.
pointed that out, and we went back through before we went on the ship.
Awesome. Nice. And then the second level, there's a little cantina that we're working on. Special, kind of just a shell. We haven't really worked it out, but something fun, I guess. If you have anybody that's interested in like cosmetic build outs of bases, they can certainly contribute in that respect. I'm sure you guys understand water barrels. I saw you had an irrigation system, so I don't need to tell you about water barrels.
Yeah.
The second floor is no different from the first floor. There will be a third floor here shortly once the second floor rooms fill up. That wasn't a priority for us. We wanted to get our two brigs and our galleon done first. But now that we're done with that, we'll be shifting our focus back to the base. In fact, that whole front wall enclosure was built this morning, and the crop plot has been expanded this afternoon. So you guys can take a room that is open, and open means it just doesn't. It has a blank nameplate above it. If it has a blank nameplate above it, you can slap your name on it and call it your own.
Great.
And that'll be your room indefinitely. There might be a little bit of shuffling when the third floor happens, just to make sure we clean out players that just haven't come back to the game at all to like one section. We won't, move their stuff into the common areas. We just move their room to make sure things stay organized.
Right.
But we don't have any plans of doing that anytime soon. And that wouldn't be the case with you guys since we know you're active and playing regularly. Over off the right side of the barracks here, we have the bank. We just ask that, you leave the tax rate to be set by the captain or quartermasters, but we're totally open to your feedback or opinion or based on the relationships you do or don't have with others on the island. We set it to 30% unless we have agreements otherwise, which we don't. And then just past that is the farm where we store all of our tamed animals. And just beyond that, there's a taming pen barely large enough to secure giraffe or elephant or any of the large animals.
May
We
I
have,
ask something?
yeah, go ahead.
Are we allowed to use stuff from the bank?
Yeah, you're allowed to use what you need here. That reminds me. Let me make sure all of you guys are members. I think you are. Yeah, you are. If you look in the company announcements section, you'll see that the there is a metal ban that was in effect. That was just while we were building the galleon. We wanted to make sure the galleon, the cannon, do everything all at once. We're going to lift the metal ban now. I'm going to throw out a new communication, and now it'll turn to people making sure they have a full set of gear, weapons. We've actually been really close to the chest in terms of like when you're at home, you should just be using a bow and arrow. You shouldn't be using guns and bullets. Let's not be wasteful with our metal.
Right.
Same with your gear. You should be wearing hide armor instead of metal armor because there's just no point. You don't need the good stuff around here when you're close and safe and near your base and other people can help you out. There's always plenty of people to help.
Right.
But now that we have, I don't know, or 15,000 metal down below, the metal spawns are back after everybody got rid of their lighthouses and stuff, and it was patched. We're gonna remove the metal ban, and people will get to get out their gear and armor because we have our armada. We're ready. And I think that's it, really.
Did you want help with uh, management of your items?
Oh yeah, thanks,
Access?
Nico. So we set up a crew for you guys. And whoa, you. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I just heard you twice. Make it stream. I'm gonna turn the volume down. We set up a crew for you guys in the Alliance management tab, and so with having a crew for former Onyx folks, Frisco can go with you over to your base if you'd like, and we can lock down the things that you want to be sure are definitely yours. That way, we can send out a communication to the company as a whole and say, hey, look, Onyx's territory is, available to be helped with. We want to make sure that, it's part of the collective whole in terms of moving it forward with our progression as well as their progression. We've locked down the stuff that is, their reserved goods, but everything else, if you want, could be communal and we could help build it out over there. Or if you want to kind of just do your own thing and build it out because you enjoy doing that, that's fine too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Omega, but I'm not so worried about that. I don't
Okay.
especially seeing hey, this is all open and you guys have had net gain and everybody's working together. It doesn't bother me if guys are over there building stuff and using material because it seems like there's going to be abundance of it. It doesn't, I don't want my armor taken out of a box that's in there, but
yeah.
There's nothing that can't be replaced, and if there's guys over there building it up to make it better for the whole company, then it doesn't bother me. I don't need it locked down, especially and be like, I think there's a negative thing to being like, hey, with our ships, yeah, we talked about that already, but with everything else, the building materials and stuff, that can all be replaced, and I think it's better to just share it as a whole.
Yeah, I would definitely
I
say
already lost everything of mine, so I don't give a crap.
to share everything. The only things I would say to leave untouched, I'm sure people would like to, because most of the houses are made by one individual person, the ones that we have. So I don't believe they would it would something they would want to personally progress on. As far as the gate we
that's
have
kind of
around
cool. So you guys have your own houses.
Well,
Yeah, I had my own.
We only had 6 or 7 people, so it was
yeah,
easier that way.
it was pretty easy.
Okay.
But as far as the gate goes, I have no problem with expanding that or taking it down or putting it in some different way. The only reason we put it up was because we were just having so many elephants just stampede, they were all over the place, and also when we heard people were stealing and stuff, we wanted to get around to protect us.
Yeah, I don't the ships we have built. Yeah, the only things we were concerned about, but the materials, people using the docks over there to build ships, it doesn't. I think it's just good for the company to leave it open and not lock it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 100%.
Okay. Deal. Well, I'll incorporate that into my next communication. I'm probably, I don't know. I might get ambitious and do it tonight, but I'm probably not going to send anything out tonight. I work in the morning, but I'll send something out to welcome you guys to the crew. I usually like to send out some sort of recognition for people that have done big tasks lately. Like one person rode a raft from 7 zones out just to bring seeds back.
Wow.
And
I think isn't that the guy we saw that the raft said seeds
Yeah.
only or something like that?
yeah.
We were out on our ships and saw him.
yeah. He was out for hours, and then we had and then we'll do rip Wolf Boost because Wolf Boost died on his adventure back home. He almost made it back home with some seeds, some wheat seeds, which we've been trying to find for forever, and they were out for 6 or 8 hours and they didn't make it back. So we
Ouch.
usually like to, I don't know, have fun with messages about the things that have happened over the past few days.
Yeah, of
People
course.
chuckle at. I don't know. That's it. That's all I have for you guys. That's my spiel.
That's great. I appreciate it. Feel like it's time to get to farming a bit. Put a little work in.
2.5.
Yeah. Yep. Before it runs
Only-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only a couple days left.
Farm now so we don't have to farm later.
Yeah, no kidding. It's gonna make a big difference
We're
if
gonna
we
have to
just
farm
get
later. The
2.5
Chinese take
times of it
everything.
done now. Get to hang out and have fun doing things.
Yeah,
Because
today
I
was
like
great.
if we go farming for the next couple days until we go out on the galleon again on the 1st, then we can safely feel like, okay, we could spend the next week or so doing nominal farming, replenish the stock that we need to on the galleon, and just go have fun and explore the rest of the islands.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even with the 2.5 going away, the facts that they've fixed the spawn, the respawns, I think
Yeah.
it won't be as bad
That's
as
huge.
it was
Yeah.
before, you know.
For sure.
So, one little question I do have left. Well, it's kind of the bigger question. What are the
Yeah.
thoughts on the company, like, with the Power Stones? What's the status on that whole deal?
So well, this is my knee-jerk reaction after seeing tonight. Um, I think we need some practice
Right.
before we're ready to get out to Power Stones. But one of the things I put in my recruiting post, see, this is why he's so ripped. Are you seeing these burpees he's
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
ridiculous.
These pecs aren't huge because I'm lazy.
Anyway, um, we definitely need some practice, and like I said before, back to the gear and weapons thing, we've been pretty close to the chest on gear and weapons for individual use. Um, so we need to work on making sure everybody's kitted out, and we need to make sure that we get a little bit more practice out on the galleon, and I would think a little bit more practice with like the galleon brig combo that we were talking about this afternoon. And then, but anyway, back to my point. In my recruiting post, one of the things that I highlight is we are focused on getting through end game PvE progression. That's part of the reason that we came to the PvE server, beyond the simple, the obvious fact of we didn't want to be riddled with mega companies and getting wiped off the slate. But yeah, we want to get through the Power Stones, get into Central Maw, and finish like the legitimate end game.
Right.
Have you guys been over to the Power Stone Island yet?
No. Well, we've passed it. Some of us have passed it.
We went on it. Well, we went on the smaller of the two islands in F8 or whatever it is. F9, the one above us. Yeah, F9. F8, yeah. The big thing that we saw, because the big island has like fortifications and stuff. It looks like there's like an actual city on it. But the little island has Army of the Dead all over the place. But the big thing was the alpha. Like there were alpha crocs everywhere, alpha, like basically alpha everything. We didn't see any ships, but I don't think at the time the Army of the Dam was spawning.
Yeah, they weren't at that time.
Gotcha. That's a good point. Yeah, so if you were getting suppressed from Army of the Damned out at sea and then out coast, that's really hairy.
I was thinking about that. We could potentially anchor on the shore and kite to the ship and cannon barrage at least that initial area.
Oh, that's
That's a good idea.
really smart. Or,
Yeah.
there's what, like 8 or 10 different cannon types? I bet you whatever the flame one is would be really good at just lighting up the coastline when
I had a question.